Sergeant Jake Hammer Hawkins stepped off the transport ship, his boots crunching on the unfamiliar terrain of the Frisian homeworld. As he surveyed his surroundings, he couldn't help but feel a sense of awe at the towering, crystalline structures that seemed to grow from the planet's surface like massive, glittering trees. Hawkins had been assigned to assist the Frisians in their battle against a massive invasion force of battle droids. It was an unusual situation, to say the least. The Frisians, known for their cautious nature, had been hesitant to invite a full human squad, fearing the reputation of humans as being unpredictable and fierce in combat. As a result, Hawkins found himself the sole human among the Frisian troops. As he made his way towards the Frisian military compound, Hawkins couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. He knew that the Frisians were a secretive species, and he could only imagine what they must think of a lone human in their midst. Upon entering the compound, Hawkins was greeted by Commander Zarnix, the leader of the Frisian military. Zarnix was an imposing figure, standing nearly 8 feet tall and covered from head to toe in a thick, deep blue fur that seemed to shimmer in the light. Sergeant Hawkins, Zarnix said, his voice a deep, rumbling growl. "Thank you for coming to our aid in this time of crisis. Your presence here is greatly appreciated." Hawkins nodded, his eyes meeting the commander's gaze. "I'm here to help in any way I can, Commander. The battle droids have been a growing threat to the universe, and it's crucial that we stand together against them." Zarnix's ears twitched, a sign of agreement among the Frisians. "Indeed, Sergeant, but I must confess, my people are uneasy about the prospect of fighting alongside a human. Your kind has a reputation for being unpredictable in battle." Hawkins couldn't help but chuckle. "I assure you, Commander, I'm here to follow orders and work alongside your troops. I may be human, but I'm a soldier first and foremost." Zarnix studied Hawkins for a moment, his deep, amber eyes seeming to peer into the human's very soul. Finally, he nodded. "Very well, Sergeant. I will trust in your abilities and your commitment to our cause." As Hawkins was led through the compound, he couldn't help but marvel at the advanced technology and unique abilities of the Frisian soldiers. Their weapons were unlike anything he had ever seen, seeming to harness the very energy of the planet itself. And their ability to blend into their surroundings, thanks to their deep, camouflaging fur, was a tactical advantage that Hawkins knew would come in handy in the battles ahead. But despite their technological prowess and natural abilities, Hawkins could sense the apprehension and lack of experience among the Frisian troops. Many of them had never faced an enemy like the battle droids before, and the prospect of going up against such a formidable foe was clearly daunting. As he settled into his quarters and prepared for the coming battle, Hawkins knew that he had his work cut out for him. He would need to not only fight alongside the Frisians, but also help to bolster their confidence and morale in the face of such overwhelming odds. But if there was one thing that Sergeant Jake Hammer Hawkins was known for, it was his ability to rise to any challenge. And as he lay down to rest, his mind already racing with strategies and battle plans, he knew that he would stop at nothing to help the Frisians defend their home and strike a blow against the invading droid forces. The battle for Frisian was about to begin, and Hawkins was ready to show the universe just what a human soldier was capable of. The sound of explosions and the sizzle of energy weapons filled the air as Sergeant Hawkins and the Frisian troops took up defensive positions around the capital city. The battle droids had begun their invasion in earnest, their gleaming metal bodies marching relentlessly towards the Frisian lines. Hawkins, his pulse rifle at the ready, surveyed the battlefield with a keen eye. The droids were clearly well armed and well protected, their advanced shielding absorbing the brunt of the Frisians' initial volleys. "We need to find a way to penetrate their defenses," Hawkins growled into his comm link, his voice cutting through the chaos of the battle. "Concentrate fire on their joints and sensors. That's where they're vulnerable." The Frisian troops, bolstered by Hawkins' leadership, began to focus their attacks on the droids' weak points. Slowly but surely they started to make headway, the droids falling one by one under the sustained onslaught. But the victory was short-lived. As the first wave of droids fell, a second, even larger force emerged from the horizon, their weapons blazing with renewed intensity. The Frisian lines began to buckle under the assault, and Hawkins could see the fear and desperation in the eyes of his alien comrades. "Hold the line," he shouted, his voice booming over the din of battle. "We can do this. Fight for your homes, for your families, for your families, for your planet." Inspired by Hawkins' words, the Frisians rallied, their weapons firing with renewed determination. Hawkins himself was a blur of motion on the battlefield, his pulse rifle taking down droid after droid with pinpoint accuracy. But even with their newfound resolve, the Frisians were still losing ground. The droids seemed to be endless, their numbers replenishing as fast as they were destroyed. It was then that Hawkins had an idea. "Commander Zarnix," he called over the comlink, "I need a small team of your best soldiers. We're going to take out the droid command ship." Zarnix's voice crackled over the link, his tone skeptical. "That's a suicide mission, Sergeant. The command ship is heavily guarded and shielded." Hawkins grinned, his eyes flashing with determination. "Trust me, Commander. It's the only way to end this." Reluctantly, Zarnix agreed, and Hawkins soon found himself leading a hand-picked team of Frisian soldiers towards the looming droid command ship. They fought their way through hordes of battle droids, Hawkins' combat skills and the Frisians' unique abilities working in perfect synergy. As they neared the command ship, Hawkins could feel the eyes of the entire Frisian army on him. This was the moment that would decide the fate of the planet, and he knew that failure was not an option. With a final, desperate push, Hawkins and his team breached the command ship's defenses. They fought their way to the central control room, taking down droid after droid with a ferocity that seemed to catch the enemy off guard. Finally, they reached the heart of the ship. With a triumphant roar, Hawkins slammed his fist down on the control panel, sending a cascading failure through the droid network. Outside, the Frisian troops watched in awe as the battle droids suddenly froze, their glowing eyes fading to black. A cheer went up from the Frisian lines as they realized what had happened. Sergeant Jake Hammer Hawkins had done it. He had led the Frisians to victory against impossible odds, showing the invading droid forces the true power and determination of a human soldier. As Hawkins emerged from the smoldering wreckage of the command ship, he was greeted by Commander Zarnix and a throng of cheering Frisian soldiers. Zarnix clasped Hawkins' hand in his own, his eyes shining with gratitude and respect. "You have saved our planet," Sergeant Hawkins Zarnix said, his voice thick with emotion. "We owe you a debt that can never be repaid." Hawkins shook his head, a tired smile on his face. "I was just doing my job, Commander, and I couldn't have done it without the bravery and skill of your soldiers." As the Frisians celebrated their hard-fought victory, Hawkins knew that this was just the beginning. The battle droids would undoubtedly regroup and strike again, and there were countless other worlds out there in need of defense. But for now, he allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. He had shown the universe what a single human soldier was capable of, and he knew that wherever the fight against the droids took him next, he would be ready. For Sergeant Jake Hammer Hawkins, this was just another day in the life of a Space Marine, and he wouldn't have it any other way. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please be sure to leave it a like and subscribe too, if you don't want to miss our next one. Feel free to check out any of our other videos too.